In the warmer months, I'm often in the woods looking for spiders. And there's one pretty common jumping spider species I've almost taken for granted, despite it being one of the biggest, prettiest, and most colorful jumping spiders I've seen yet. I'm talking about Paraphidippus aurantius, also known as the golden or emerald jumping spider, for its shimmering metallic scales. The generic name Paraphidippus describes its close relationship to the genus Phidippus, with para being ancient Greek for beside or from, and the specific name aurantius comes from aurantium, Latin for orange, itself coming from aurum, gold. Despite being my most frequently uploaded Salticid species to iNaturalist, I've only ever found the species in northeastern Oklahoma, and the true range of the whole genus is a little fuzzy right now, but taking a look at iNaturalist observations shows a concentration of Paraphidippus aurantius in the eastern U.S., with a few more beautiful species and maybe some unknown, to me, diversity down into Mexico and further south, petering out before South America. I suspect it's one of my most photographed species, not because it's the most common species out there necessarily, but it's just so beautiful, and I don't like passing them up. That said, I do come across them more frequently during wet summers that have good amounts of rainfall. Walking through wooded areas, I'll occasionally find them on verbicina, or wingstem, a common plant around here in the sunflower family. On a hot day in early July a few years back, I was ecstatic to find this huge, beautiful female feeding on a smaller spider. I'll often see females eating, and if approached carefully, this is a great opportunity to photograph them a little bit closer. And this allows for a deeper appreciation of their wild colors and markings, in particular these varied scales across the abdomen. This metallic green color is likely from some sort of structural coloration, meaning the color we see may not be pigment-based, but the result of some sort of microstructure of the scales interfering with the light, causing them to appear that brilliant emerald. I'd be curious to see these green scales across the top of the cephalothorax even closer through an SEM. I wonder if thin film interference plays a role in this color we see. With any symmetrical pattern, I like to gaze into it long enough for a face to emerge. Due to the huge size of these spiders, photographing their eyes can be really rewarding as they just cover more pixels. I just love those orange scales nestled so neatly around the edge of those eyes. Alright, let's get back to that big female on wingstem. While filming her, I noticed that there was also a mature male on the same plant, and before too long, he seemed to notice something was up and started searching about the plant. She seemed more aware of his whereabouts than he did, keeping tabs on him as he navigated up the plant. Even peeking down over the edge of a leaf as he got close. After wandering around a little bit, he eventually figured out how to get to the leaf she was on. And almost the moment he got face to face with her, he started a courtship pose, raised his forelegs, and she rushed to the other side of the leaf. Before pulling an existing silk thread taut and climbing out of the scene. Now, while jumping spiders don't make webs to catch prey, they do use silk in some unique ways, in jumping, navigating, and making silken nests. This silk starts as a fluid, a liquid protein in silk glands inside the spider's abdomen, before traveling to the spinnerets located out at the tip of the abdomen. As this liquid is extruded or pulled through tiny spigots at the tip of the spinnerets, the proteins align and solidify into a strong thread. Different threads for different uses can be produced, and the spinnerets themselves can be highly articulated. Not a Paraphidippus, but here's a relatively close Phidippus insignarius using silk on my thumb.
Oh, is he ballooning? You see, yeah, he put his abdomen up and spread his spinnerets. I think he might have been ballooning.
Despite my excitement in that audio there, I'm not sure if that spider was actually ballooning or what was going on exactly, so leave a comment if you have any ideas. One thing I do know is Paraphidippus loves eating and really prioritizes prey capture, capable of taking down prey much larger than themselves even at an early age, like this immature Paraphidippus with a soldier beetle. Smaller spiders seem to be a favorite prey choice. And here, a large female Paraphidippus feeds on a pirate spider. This particularly white female completely ignored this click beetle, and possibly its violent click. Despite an apparently good appetite, she attacked and ate 3 different invertebrates as I watched her, before drinking my sweat off the leaf on a hot afternoon. As I mentioned earlier, catching a jumping spider when they're busy feeding is a great time to get in closer for photographs or video. And this enormous individual with a plump caterpillar was a really exciting find. And an opportunity to observe how she uses her fangs to initially envenomate the caterpillar, injecting a paralyzing venom that also breaks down the internal tissues. Then she regurgitates more digestive fluids into the mix, further dissolving and liquefying the prey. And with repeated stabbing and macerating, this further breaks down the tissue, and the resulting fluid is slurped up through a mouth down in between the chelicerae. And this is aided by a sucking stomach, kind of acting like a pump. It seems female spiders really prioritize eating, in part due to the high energy costs of mating and egg production. And as opportunistic hunters, they'll eat as much as they can when food is available, because they may not know when their next meal will be. And a large, well-fed female has a better chance of laying eggs and surviving. Despite her huge size and preoccupation with the caterpillar, I found it kind of funny that this tiny wandering ant startled her so much. Now, let's move away from her and focus on males for a little bit. For whatever reason, I tend to see them a little bit less than the females. But searching woodlands in the summer, possibly incidentally, I'll find them on wingstem, which is named after these raised wing-like extensions down the stem. Though males seem to prioritize courting females, they do need to feed to fuel this love quest. Here a male feeds on an odd choice, a leaf beetle. Note his huge chelicerae and fangs wrapping around the beetle. These huge mouth parts and long forelegs are an example of sexual dimorphism, an aid in male-to-male combat, and presumably courtship, which I've never seen in its entirety. This adult male, hanging out on a wingstem leaf, seems to have a smaller front right leg. I suspect this is a regenerated leg, which was lost or damaged at some point earlier in life, and regrown through molting. Though now as an adult, he won't molt anymore, so he's stuck with that little leg. Better than not having one at all, I guess. I wonder how much it'll put him at a disadvantage. He might have a strategy, though, to increase his odds of success as a male. I noticed he was sticking close to the specific leaf near a silken nest or retreat, which at first I thought might be his until I noticed someone was inside it, a female Paraphidippus. Now, it's a complex strategy I've only read about in Phidippus, but male jumping spiders will sometimes engage in mate guarding, both pre- and post-copulatory. In pre-copulatory mate guarding, males will guard the nest of a subadult, penultimate instar female and wait for her to reach maturity in an attempt to be the first to mate with her. In post-copulatory mate guarding, males invest in guarding after inseminating the female. So, I'm not sure exactly what's going on here. Maybe the presence of the male was purely coincidental, or maybe she was guarding eggs in there. I don't know. Nonetheless, it was an interesting observation, and it was super cute to see her all tucked up in her silken hammock. As the adult female is the larger and more robust of the two, she really calls the shots, and female choosiness drives sexual selection. Attempting courtship can be a dangerous encounter for the males, as seen in this video I uploaded over 15 years ago now, in which a female stalked, pounced on, and killed a male of the same species. As he died, his legs retracted, and she wandered about, holding him up as she fed. Courtship and subsequent mating clearly does succeed sometimes, though, as evidenced by the not uncommon sight of tiny Paraphidippus spiderlings in my garden. Paraphidippus is a fascinating genus of jumping spiders, and I hope to learn more about them in the future. Anytime I spend watching spiders closely, looking deeply into their lives, I find it an incredibly humbling experience. Just getting lost in lives so complex, ancient, and beautiful recontextualizes my own. And as a final note, I don't keep, breed, or buy spiders, preferring to travel to them and observe their lives naturally. All spiders in this video were shot outside, in situ, and unmanipulated by myself. If you have any corrections or questions, please leave a comment. I'd love to hear from you. So, subscribe if you haven't already. I've got more spider and macro stuff coming, and I appreciate you watching. Thank you.